Okay, let's continue with our program outcomes. So these are the list of things that you are going to expect to acquire after the end of this course, of this semester. So this course would be able to give you the proper understanding of professional and ethical responsibility. Okay? And letter G, this course would enable you to communicate effectively with engineering community and society. So this is something interesting. So all of these four, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the next one, which is about understanding management principle as a member and leader of a team. They are all enabling course. So meaning to say, this course is not an introductory one. So there are 3 levels of course: introductory course, enabling course, and the other one is the specialized, no? Specialized course. So we are on the middle, no? So on your preparation for your future career. So this course would enable you. So what you can gain here, those information, those knowledge are about to give you, okay, the proper guidance so that you can properly interact with other types of engineer. You will not get lost in the thick of things, in the conversation. Okay, because sometimes if you are not familiar, you tend to be what? You tend to panic. You tend to be more ashamed, afraid, or unprepared. So because even if you are mentally or academically prepared, because you are unfamiliar with the situation, you tend to panic. No? So management principle. So I will take up the shoes of a person, a professional that would give you these different things. So sort of different things. As a member, so for a longest time, I am a member. No? For a longest time, I also have a chance to be a leader. So I would be able to give you some idea on how other engineers would react, how other engineers would take their position on some issues in the construction as a professional, as ethical, how they would deal with other engineers like civil engineers, for example. Okay, so and because I am also a civil engineer, so I could really relate and understand what different engineers would actually they have to share their engineering plans so that they can demand or require something before an actual construction happens or before an actual plan have to be agreed upon. Okay? Because from the point of view of civil engineers, for example, we are dealing with design, analysis of structural matters, structural components. So, and then the mechanical engineer will come up and say, so can I bore a hole in your column? Can I bore a hole in your flooring? Because I would like to pass through it 4 inches of pipings, okay, for example. And then you will say, okay, I will think about it. If that will not destroy my my flooring and columns. Okay. Okay. And then after you get some analysis, design, and adjustment, take note, a simple adjustment will get you a very, very hard time modifying many parts of the plan. Okay. Then again, another thing, electrical engineer will come up and requests another thing. So he or she may say, can I get to pass through a series of cables through your beam? Okay, going through the flooring, okay, and finally to the walls. Okay, and then you will again remodify your plan. So there are series of back and forth, no, communication. Okay, so you have to be able to effectively communicate. So when you are talking to somebody who is not in your field, who is not in your similar field, okay? When I am talking with an electrical engineer who is not a mechanical engineer and who is not a civil engineer, from the point of view of civil engineer, there might be technical terms that would mean totally different things from both of you. Okay? There might be. And actually there are, for example, the acronyms. There are acronyms that means totally different things as a civil engineer and as a electrical engineer, as a mechanical engineer. So it would give misunderstanding and misinterpretation and problems, troubles later on. Okay. Okay. So that's why it is very important when you are talking to other people not in your same specialty, you have to use other type of language. You do not need to use technical terms. That what we mean by technical terms as a civil engineer, from the point of view of civil engineer, we define, for example, analysis, the word analysis, as a civil engineer. The word analysis as electrical is different. Okay, the word analysis as a mechanical is different. Okay, so can you give another word rather than using analysis when you want the meaning to be clear? Of course, you have to use what? Layman's term. Do not use technical terms in your own field. Okay? It is very similar when a doctor wants to tell us something. If we get hospitalized, the doctor will tell you something. The doctor will not tell you medical term. Okay, when he is talking and explaining to you. But when he is writing prescription, it is of course written on technical terms and medical terms. Okay, but when he is explaining to you, he needs to explain it in layman's term. Okay, okay, that's how we interact with other person, with owners of the building, with clients who are not civil engineers, so may not be able to understand clearly the technicalities of the word we are talking about. So when we define something on structural engineering, as we have defined in design, analysis, design for strength, for example, those are type of words that carries a specific meaning in civil engineering. For example, if you talk about steel to a mechanical engineer, it could mean differently because mechanical engineers are more detailed when they are talking about metals. Okay. Okay. So technically, we also define steel or structural steel from the point of view of civil engineer and actually uses code to define it. So technical term for civil engineer, but they may not be the technical term and may carry additional meaning when you are talking with a mechanical engineer. Because when we are talking with mechanical engineers, when we say steel, we need to have so much information to be added. Don't just talk steel. Don't just say structural steel. Okay? You have to be very specific when you are talking to the mechanical engineer. When you want it to be detailed, but when you just have to express something, when you just have to deal with the construction, troubles, planning, okay, insight, getting an insight, okay. So you just need to use layman's term and just say still like this. So those are things that we need to what responsible with professionally. What about ethical? Some example of this is, for example, with something to do with also related to professionalism. When we say ethical as an engineer, we do not degrade other types of engineer because we are civil engineer. We are better than mechanical. We do not do it to their face, no. We just talk to it from their back. Okay, so that's a joke, but that is ethical. You do not say it to their faces. You are just a mechanical engineer of the site. We are civil engineer. You have to follow us. So you do not talk like that. That is unethical. Okay. So those type of language and actuations will not give you positive results in construction. No. So another thing, there are so many things in ethical, particularly in what materials handling, okay, and observance of protocol. Okay, there are engineers that will not ask your permission, even if they know they have to ask you permission. Okay? They will, for example, they will just dig a hole in your footings. They will just bore through your wall. Okay? When you is the engineer responsible for the wall, responsible for the footings. Okay? So they have to ask permission. So without permission, those actions are unethical, even if their action will make the construction better, is still unethical. Just have to what? To ask permission. Okay. So those things are usually the encounters between different engineers in the field. Okay? So we will give more about that. So you have to understand that I will make story. I will what? I will state story. I will give you a story. I will not make up a story. I will take stories out of my experience, out of somebody else's experience, which I know. Okay. In order for you to what? To be able to communicate effectively with other engineering community and society in general. Society meaning owners, those are the people who are not engineers. Okay, for example, architects, okay, businessmen, okay, suppliers. Okay, so those are what we call society. Okay, or neighbors of neighboring people of the construction area. Okay, that is a society. You should be able to explain to them properly that you're digging up beside their property is just okay. You should be able to explain well, okay? Communicate effectively, okay? How to do it. So that's why don't be surprised that most of the time I will give stories out of these experiences, okay? So don't interpret it as wala, nagkwento na naman si sir, ubos na naman ang oras nito. Because we know it is what? Required by this course. Okay? Actually, required by this course. How to function in multidisciplinary and multicultural, meaning from different backgrounds, from different cultures. It means different nationality of engineers, different regional areas they came from, the different provinces they came from. Different provinces in our country alone would mean cultural differences. Okay? Some of the provinces will be happy eating chili, eating eating spicy foods, and some of the provinces are not so much into chili and spicy food. So what will happen if you function in that field? You have what? Snack, you have a lunch, and you are going to talk or have a lunch meeting, working lunch. Okay. So do you prepare or offer those type of food? So there are several encounters. So understand management principle. How to manage them as a member. You should be able to push through with your own responsibility. As a civil engineer, you are responsible for this area. You should be able to push through with that without harming other engineers. Okay? without harming the relationship, because you will be what? Joining together up to the end of the projects, which will take a long time. For example, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. And on the very first month, you make so much what? So much noise, bad comments, and therefore the relationship will be bad for the whole 3 years. Okay, so it's not a good, but it's not a good incident to have those type of negative dealings with other person, okay? Other responsible person, because they also have their own responsibility themselves. They will also have to posture with their own goals. Okay. So anyway, those are the types of outcomes that are generally not common in our major subject in our professional courses. Okay, because again, this course is what? Preparing us to deal with other type of engineering and society at large. Okay. So you should be able in this course to define, compute, describe, and interpret, design, and detailing information of the building plumbing system. Okay. Number 2, you should be able to name, identify, interpret, design, and detailing information of life and safety system. So this means fire protection. Okay. You should be able to name, number 3, describe, interpret elements and machines under building conveying system. So what are these? Building conveying system, meaning escalator, elevator, walkalator, other types of conveying system. Conveying system meaning it helps you. This machine helps you to be what? To be moved from one point to another, from one floor to another. Okay. Convey, no, from one floor to another. Okay. And number 4, you should be able to name, describe, and interpret ratings and designs of acoustic control system. As you can notice, we already have some discussion about fire protection and plumbing system last semester when we are dealing with what? Engineering utility 1. But that is because those are the description of engineering utility 1 in our what? In our registration form is sanitary, plumbing, fire protection, design. Okay. And on the engineering utility 2, the description is electrical and mechanical. However, when I made this presentation, when I made these slides, I found out from the policies and standards and guidelines, CMO number 92, series of 2017, that this is the proper topics for this course. And we have to follow it because we are under what? We are under the CHED. Okay? We are under the governance of CHED. CHED is the governing body that specifies the standards, policy standards and guidelines for college study. Okay. Okay. So therefore, I am following it. I have to follow it, even though we already talk about the plumbing system. We have to do it here. Okay. Why? Because I am uploading everything on the channel and everybody will see it. So there is a chance that Ched will be able to check this channel. And if we are not following, we will be what? Summoned. We'll get summoned by Ched. Why are you not following the guideline? Okay. So we have to what? We have to follow, because I am for what? Transparency. Okay. You have to be transparent. So there's a mistake. That's why I checked one of your registration form, and I saw that in your registration form you have what? You have engineering utilities 2, and it says electrical and mechanical. Okay? And that is not correct. That is not correct. When you check, if you check, so you will have to get your own copy of CHED-CMO. Okay? Okay? You will have to check, and this is the correct student or the course outcome. Okay? So this would be our coverage for the course. This is also from the CMO 92 series of 2017. We will start with the introduction, then basic principles of sanitary design, plumbing design. Number 3, plumbing materials, fittings, and fixtures. Number 4, sanitary drainage system, and OSST. What is OSST? This is one example of acronyms which may have different meaning to other engineering disciplines. So when you are talking of OSST, therefore it is related to sanitary. So in sanitary, we will have to use this acronym. Okay. So number 5, life safety systems in building. So this is the fire protection system. Okay. So we will use what? Again, we will use the life safety code. Okay. And we will just continue it. We will not repeat it. We may repeat something that are very important and necessary, but we will just add up to the first semesters, or we'll just continue. Okay. And number 6, acoustical control in building. So sound control is actually being discussed. Okay. We have to control the level of sound in specific areas of the building. Like for example, auditorium. Okay. We have to control the level of sound so that neighboring rooms will not be able to be disturbed by the sound. Okay. We need so much quality of sound inside the auditorium, but we don't need it outside the auditorium. So that level of control must be there. Okay. So number 7, basic principles in building conveying system. So take note, all of these are not major subject of civil engineering, but we need to familiarize ourselves so that we know what mechanical engineers will be talking about when we encounter them later on in the future, what electrical engineers will be talking about what master plumbers will be talking about in the future with that. Okay, so these are what related fields, related to us, related to civil engineering, but these are not our fields. Okay, they will just have an idea how they do it, how they do the design, what are the materials needed, okay? What are the components, elements, assemblies, okay? How they construct it, how they install it. Those are the things that are related to us. But we will not design. Will not design. Anyway, we are not a master plumber. We will not design plumbing system. Okay? But as a civil engineer, as a civil engineering graduate, you are allowed to take the master plumber exam without additional requirement. Okay? Okay? Mechanical engineering graduate, civil engineering graduate, architecture graduate, and what? Sanitary engineering graduate. Those are the type of college graduate students that are allowed to take master plumber without additional requirement. Okay. So, references, codes, and manuals, site engineer's manual. Okay. So meaning this will what? Give you an idea from different fields. I have my own copy here of this book. I have an architectural book, architect book. We need to have architect books because architectural plan is what we call building plan, building design. So building plan and architectural plan is the same. But we do not have to use architectural plan. We use building plan or building design plan. Okay? So that's why I have also those copy. So I have this copy of book. Okay. Okay. So building technology, mechanical, electrical system. Okay. So building design and construction book. So about construction from different point of views. I have a copy of these things. And anyway, at the center, you have National Structural Code of the Philippines. That is for civil engineer. And it must not be put here, but instead, the National Building Code of the Philippines must rather be put here. But I do not have any copy in this computer. So my copy of the anyway, National Building Code could be downloaded for free. You can all of these things that I'm showing you, you can download it for free. So you just have to research it. Okay, research it and do it by yourself. You can find out so many things if you do research it yourself. Okay. So codes for homeowners, these are new ones, 2015 to 2017 codes for what? Electrical, mechanical, plumbing, and building. Building meaning this is what they call architectural plan. So electrical plan, mechanical plan, plumbing plan, building plan. Supposed to be, these are the basic. As I already told you, there are 8